Hey, everybody, and welcome to Old Roommates. This week on the show, Pretty in Pink, starring Molly Ringwald. So grab your dress from the Five and Dime and get ready for an all-new episode of Old Roommates.
Welcome, everyone. This is Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pulp culture through a middle-aged lens. This is Christina.
And this is Brian, and
we are recording once again
at
What Cheer Writers Club, a non-profit supporting Rhode Island's content creators. I don't think I'm saying that correctly, but that's fine. You guys get the picture. It's a cool non-profit. And it supports Rhode Island's content creators. There.
Very good.
It sounds a little bit more natural.
Yep.
Can't tell I'm reading it all, right? So you can visit them online at whatcheerclub.org or stop by club headquarters at 160 Westminster Street in downtown Providence. And What Cheer Writers Club is not responsible for any content produced in the club studio. There. With that being said, we can say anything we want now.
And today, oh my God! Of course, I'm fighting a sneeze. I'm gonna turn. I'll just slide my chair across
please
the room.
Please sneeze.
So
That'd be
I'll write
hilarious.
into the microphone. So today is Pretty in Pink, 1986. Christina, what were you like in 1986?
Well, I graduated high school in 1986.
Good job.
So I feel like I was sort of kind of related with these children in high school, right? Because I was about the same age. I did not live on the wrong side of the tracks, yet I was not one of the rich guys either.
Yep.
So somewhere in the middle.
And the first time you saw this movie, did you see it at the theater, as they say?
You know, it's really funny. These revisits are really... I can never remember where I was originally when I watched this movie, any of these movies. But I think that I was in. I think I saw it in the movies. I think I liked going to the movies a lot back then. So I'm going to assume I saw it in the movies, but I don't know who I saw it with. It was, I don't know. I can't tell you. Anyway. So,
and did you like it?
So I liked it. I remember liking it. I'm not sure I loved it as much as most people did. It was never one of those movies that I wanted to keep watching. You had those movies you were just like, let's watch it again. Let's watch it again. I feel like once I saw it, it was like, okay, I saw the story. Okay, I liked it. I didn't really need to revisit it again. I don't know. I didn't dislike it.
Did you relate to any of the characters? Well,
I think with all of these, is this John Hughes?
So he produced it.
Okay.
I don't know if he wrote. Did he write it? But I should have done some research on this.
I
but
didn't really do a whole lot
director.
either.
What's interesting, the director is Howard Deutch or Dutch, and he did Some Kind of Wonderful.
Okay, so
the year later.
That's very interesting because I have some
it's
things to say.
The same
some
movie.
things to say about that. But so what I was going to say is in any of these types of movies, and John Hughes comes to mind because he did so many of these. There's always such extreme situations, extreme characters. So you have the really super super poor, and then you have the really super super rich. You didn't have a lot of those in between, characters where you have to be one or the other. You had to be a mean girl or a nerd or whatever. And I was always right in the middle of everything. And in fact, actually, even my high school, I feel like everyone was sort of there. I mean, there was a couple nerdy kind of characters and there were the popular ones. But, I mean, there were no super rich people in our neighborhood, Mm-hmm. So I related to a degree, but I did think that they were a bit exaggerated in many of these movies.
So John Hughes did write it.
He did, okay.
I will say, so for me in 1986, I was 14. What is that? Is that 9th grade? 10th grade? Ninth grade.
I think it's about ninth grade, yeah.
And we did. So at high school I went, there was like in Brockton, so it was like you had the west side and the east side, and like west was the best, east is the least. And what was weird about me is that I technically did live on the west side, but I was poor. So I had like, I guess the worst of both worlds. But it was like, no, I'm kidding. But it was, but we did have some kids that had some money. Mm-hmm. There were definitely some moneyed kids.
Brockton's such a huge
It's a very big city, and there's some really nice parts to Brockton and some really, parts that could be better. So, but I did not see this at the movies. I remember watching it on VHS, and I did not. You said you liked it. I did not care for it. Back then I was completely annoyed by Duckie, and I found Andie, Molly Ringwald's character, to be very whiny, and I couldn't grab onto anything. I didn't relate to anyone. And
what'd you think of Blane?
So I remember Blane, thinking that Blane was cute because the movie sets him up to be very cute. Mm-hmm. We can get into now in a moment, but like I was not, say, attracted to him. I did remember thinking then that like Molly Ringwald's character was kind of a bit quirky, and her clothes were a bit unusual. Mm-hmm. Now, so we just jump into now. I mean,
let me tell you about, because I didn't really tell you about how I felt about the characters back then.
Oh, okay.
But I would agree with you on those characters, although I didn't find Duckie annoying back then for some weird reason, and okay. I don't know how that would pass me, but like Andrew McCarthy, he was in a lot of these movies back then. I never saw the appeal. I felt like he was so like one note and had that same stupid smirk. Okay, so I don't have the same dislike as I had in a prior episode of Pretty Woman with Julie Roberts. I don't have that same level of dislike, but I never liked him because he just always had that. He like always relied on that stupid little smirk, and I never really understood that appeal to him back then. And Duckie, I kind of liked Duckie. And Andie's character, I don't know. Like, she was sort of neutral to me. I didn't really think she was that attractive.
You go after people, Christina.
Well, I'm just saying.
You went first Glenn Close.
She was
several months ago, and now poor Molly Ringwald.
No, I didn't say Molly Ringwald. I think is an attractive.
Oh, her
person.
character.
Yeah, the way the personality.
That's what I'm saying about her too.
But I'm ripping them apart, but you're not.
Well, I said whiny.
You know what?
You said her personality.
Is over. Our friendship is
over. Oh my God, this is gonna be a long episode. You said attractive is the word. An attractive personality. You added personality when I accused you of
I'll let it
shaming women. But but for my thing was I found her whiny was my issue with her.
All right, so how about now? So
we have to jump into now.
Yeah, we have to. It's already like a half hour into our episode. And it's a shallow dive.
I know, that's right.
Yes.
Do we want to start with what jumped out as pleasant surprises or refreshed positive memories?
Sure.
Or how best to do this?
Well, I don't know. Let's just jump in.
Yeah, what jumped out at you? In a good way?
One thing that I remembered but loved all over again is the James Spader character. I just think he's so good at being bad. He's so good at being just such a creep. Like, he was ahead of his time. He stood out as the best actor in that whole movie, I think. Oh, I can tell by Brian's expression.
That is one of my biggest negatives. Wow. Is his performance.
Wow.
And truly his presence. He is a toxic wonder. I mean, he is beyond. I don't think I even wrote in my notes at one point, I was like, does he even go to school here? Mean Girls
he always
line.
Seemed very old.
Always, he looks like he's about 32 years old.
Yes, he definitely looks
has
old.
His shirt buttoned down to his navel, chest hair blazing, and he calls Benny a slut Mm-hmm. He calls Andie a bitch.
Right. His character's such a jerk.
A horrific character that almost to the point of being unbelievable. Like, he is unbelievable to me. And I just didn't buy it. I just didn't, like, it's like, wow, talk about one note. I mean, like, his character, there's no charm to speak of. And,
yeah.
And whereas, say, like, Craig Sheffer, like, in Some Kind of Wonderful,
it's very
character. Similar. The Hardy Jen's character in Some Kind of Wonderful, you could sort of, they probably came from the same family.
I'm sure they did.
But I did feel like with Hardy, there was, like, I don't know, there was some sort of reaction. He and I don't think it was an acting performance. I think it was like he was given a little extra layer of, oh my gosh, Amanda Jones can hurt me if I let her. Whereas you don't get any of that from James Spader, where he's truly just a villain.
Right.
And it's a bit unbelievable. How does he even have friends? And there's never really an established thing. Right. And there's never really an established vibe of why Blane is so convinced by him. Like, it was Blane. Yeah.
So Blane.
Okay, let's get into Blane.
So to defend my James Spader, I think his character was needed. I think it was needed in this movie because everybody else, it was very blasé. Like, I feel like they were all, except for Annie Potts. I liked Annie Potts' character very much.
Amazing.
But aside from her, everybody else, the father, Andie, even Duckie, as quirky as he is, still, like, kind of boring. And then when James Spader's character, I forget his name. What was his name? Do you remember?
Steph.
So when Steph shows up.
Really quick, the women's names are Benny and Andie. The men's names are Steph and Blane.
So weird.
And Duckie.
That's so weird.
It's a very strange, just an observation.
Someone did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Someone
Steph.
definitely did that on purpose. Where was I going with that? Anyway, I just feel like he was, yes, exaggerated, maybe bordering on unbelievable, but I think it was much needed to kind of wake up the movie. It's the only time I was, like, interested, to be honest.
Wow.
But anyway.
Wow.
But Annie Potts' character was fantastic. She's hilarious. I forgot about her a little bit. From the original.
I couldn't remember. Yeah, I don't think I remembered who the actress was, but I absolutely forgot. So I remembered that there was this quirky character, but what I forgot was the age difference, because they don't look too age different. She's 13 years older than
Yeah, I kind of remembered
Andie.
that.
Oh, I didn't remember that. I loved her phone call with
because she gave her
Tyrone.
her old prom dress.
I didn't remember that.
No, okay.
I didn't really care for the movie the first time around. Maybe I neglected to say that before. But I did like Annie Potts, and I loved the phone call she had. I mean, she's basically doing like a Cyndi Lauper. She's doing a Cyndi Lauper impression to a degree. Although Cyndi Lauper wasn't much of a thing then. Cyndi Lauper sort of happened in '84,
and this was '86.
'86. Oh, this she did. But it was like, but I feel like she sort of borrowed a bit from Cyndi Lauper's persona, but. The phone call she has with Tyrone is very funny about the bondage thing and all that. I mean...
The phone call was great. I think I wrote that down somewhere. Conversation on the phone in the background. Like, it's so good. Fighting with the boyfriend.
I remember, like, when she talks about how great her butt used to be. She's like, I had a great butt.
Yeah.
She's like, I was the only one at the prom... Christina, every time I try and do a movie quote, I F it up. I had the only date at the prom who had a wife and 2 kids.
It's great. That's great.
Oh, God. She was great.
The only part that I didn't like about her was at the very end when she, like, meets this kind of conservative guy, and then she sort of is changing for him. Did you catch that? She kind of, all of a sudden, she opens the door and she's like, don't laugh. Because she's like,
all
like
pulled
sort
together
of
and
conservative dress, and that was a little bit like,
I
don't know. I suppose I understand what she's doing. It didn't bother me that much. It bothered me a little bit.
I wonder if it didn't hurt me in any way. I feel like I wondered too if it was like because Andie is not changing. And like it shows another side of that sort of struggle of like, listen, I'm an original. If you can't handle me, you can't handle me. But if you realize that your personality is preventing you from connecting with someone, do you have to change a little bit? Can I be honest?
But I think a little bit is the key, though, right? I feel like a compromise is needed, and not necessarily I'm going to change for him. And I think it could have been done in a more subtle way for the Annie Potts character.
Yeah, it was a bit extreme. I agree with you. I think also too, but you know, I have to say, I did wonder, like, I'm just rewriting movies now, as we do at
I
Old
do it
Roommates.
every
I
time.
know, but it's like I think the father and Iona would have been a cute couple because he needed a jump start. Like he was so stuck with the wife that left him.
Yeah.
And but Harry Dean Stanton, I think it's a fantastic performance.
It's so good, and you know what? I forgot about it. Until he came on screen, I was like, oh my gosh, that's right. There's this whole backstory of this relationship.
And the mother that walks out. And the scene where he grabs Molly Ringwald and they're yelling at, that was like a different movie to me. Oh. It was so intense. And I was like, holy shit, this is the edge. So you're talking about how everyone was kind of boring. And James Spader added the edge. That scene was like, that was the jump start for that movie for me. I was like, it woke up the whole movie.
It really did.
Where they're yelling and she's like, you have to get, face facts.
She left me too.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Oh, that is great. And I think it brought out the best in Molly Ringwald. And I think her acting in that scene was incredible too.
Right. As opposed to the rest of the movie.
So I'm guessing you didn't.
So it's weird. Like, I know it sounds like I hated this movie, and I guess I didn't really love it, but I just felt like, I don't know, it was lazy or something. And the other part that was kind of bothering me was the similarities to Some Kind of Wonderful. And I wonder if I would think differently if I hadn't just rewatched Some Kind of Wonderful, because I feel like it was so similar. I wrote down so many different things. Andie is an artist, and Duckie is the quirky best friend who's in love with her. And then you have, obviously, the bad guy, the rich, and it's the rich versus poor. And what else? Oh, and they even have like that weird clubbing scene.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. With the band playing right in front of their faces, and yet they're having a normal conversation like we are right now. And they can hear everything just fine.
Very strange. Both movies, that's the same thing. But I don't know if I was consciously comparing the two, but it was definitely a glaring comparison.
I agree. I hear you. The same, and even with the angry yelling father and the big explosive moment.
Right.
And it was really about the father having to realize something, not the kid, and the kid spins it around. It's very, very similar.
So similar.
So I feel like we have to talk about Duckie. And this is where I feel like the movie. So here's a bit of trivia. And I think maybe a lot of people know this. The original version of this movie that was shown for test audiences had Andie and Duckie end up together.
Okay.
Test audiences hated the idea.
I'm so glad.
I'm very surprised by that, though.
Surprised
we're
too.
so back in the 80s, and with all of these movies, you're very conditioned. Like, oh no, the best friend is the one you're supposed to be with. That best friend is just one kiss away from being your lover,
right?
Or your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. And I think with Duckie, it was very tricky because this movie doesn't really give him, I think. So I didn't like Duckie at all.
I didn't like
him
Duckie
then.
At all.
I didn't like him now.
I don't know how I liked him then.
Jesus. He's one of the most annoying characters.
So annoying.
In 80s films. That's a big statement.
Not even a good friend.
Thank you. Setting off the fucking fire alarm 4 times in the record store. 4 times. 4 times. So the other thing is that when we first meet Duckie, the very first scene, he goes up to 2 girls, right? And he's like, so which one am I getting pregnant tonight? And they slap him. Then he runs up to Molly Ringwald. And this is where I think the movie kind of dropped the ball with him right off the bat. Because he runs up to her and she is annoyed. So I'm like, so he is just this annoying kid. And only later do you find out, oh no, we were childhood friends and I can't imagine my life without him. I'm like, Really? I can.
Yeah,
I
me too.
I can imagine this whole movie without him, to be quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, think about him as opposed to Watts. Like the difference in the friendships.
Watts is a good friend. Watts is a real good listener.
You believe that there's a mutual friendship.
Yeah, that they're both outcasts and they respect each other. Duckie doesn't respect anything.
Duckie was like an annoying little brother that wouldn't leave her alone.
But then, fast forward a little bit into the movie where they're sitting on Andie's bed and she says, I wrote it down, I paused it and wrote it down. I hope I'm not the only person who knows what an incredible person you are. And I'm like, Andie, you are.
You are definitely. And I'm not even convinced that you know that.
Only person.
I don't even think that you really believe that. It was almost like she had no one else to hang out with, and that's so that
he calls her every 3 minutes. Every 3.
That would not last a lifetime.
It's not a good character.
Yeah.
His best moment, interestingly enough, was with Harry Dean Stanton when they're talking outside, and Harry Dean Stanton says something along the lines of, well, I guess I have to turn my life around. Like, they have a sort of playful conversation.
Yep.
And Duckie says, well, if Tina Turner can do it, so can you. And he just, like, runs away. And I actually laughed out loud. And then Harry Dean Stanton's character is like, Tina Turner. And I laughed. And I thought that was very funny. But then you get Duckie setting the alarm off. I truly remembered that scene of the alarms and knowing back then, being a teenager, being like, Duckie sucks.
Yeah,
He's not
Duckie
a good
totally
friend.
Sucks.
He's not a good friend.
The only positive thing I have written in here is that, and I don't know, I actually forget the scene now, but it says Duckie's lip syncing was fun.
Try a little tenderness in the record store. And he's like flopping all around the records.
I remember
cute.
it now.
That was
I liked
cute.
that.
But
That was a positive thing.
It needed to be cute.
He was otherwise ridiculous.
I feel like I would almost bet they added that in much later in the story because it's like we have to give him some sort of
like a redeeming
or just
something.
a fun factor because he's annoying.
Yes, he is so annoying. I wrote down that Andie has known him for years, so why is she surprised at his craziness? So it's almost inconsistent, right? So she's like surprised. Like, hasn't he been doing this for 20 years or however old they are?
Yeah.
It was weird that she was surprised that he was so crazy.
Also, why, to that point, Christina, why didn't she tell Duckie she had a date? They're best friends.
It's weird.
They're best friends. Just
it's
like,
a
I have a
weird
date tonight.
relationship.
I'm going out with Blane. Oh my God, that rich kid. Also, do people not know who Blane is? Is Blane new to that school? It was
weird.
He's like, Blane, that's the name of an appliance. And I'm like, wait, what?
But everybody seems to know who Andie is.
Except Duckie.
Right.
And then it's like you have the rich kids and the poor kids. And the poor kids actually call the rich kids Richies.
Yeah.
But what do the rich kids call them?
I'm sure they don't call them anything.
They probably don't. Yeah.
They don't even talk about
them. But it is weird. I'm like, yeah, that makes no sense. Why wouldn't she just fucking tell Duckie that she has a date? What is the harm in that?
That's why I didn't buy the friendship. It was weird. Like, if they're that close, then he would know that she had a date or that she was interested, or like they would have a conversation. I felt like she was just avoiding him the whole time, and he was just following her around. Like, I didn't feel like it was a friendship. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like a mutual relationship. To that point, she truly seems annoyed by him more than any other emotion. 100%.
Yeah. It does a lot of coddling with him. Like, sometimes he just gets weird, and it seems like he has a lot of work.
He has some issues.
Yeah.
I have to laugh at one of my notes I wrote. Why is she dressed like a middle-aged woman?
That's the gray outfit. But you know what though? Do you remember what what Blane says to her, which is so fucking rude? Do you remember when he said, he looks at her, they're walking out of the store, and he says, "Oh, did you want to go home and change?"
Oh, right.
How would you ever fucking say that to a human being?
He's an idiot.
That is not.
He's an idiot.
Yeah.
Should we talk about? Did you have something else to say?
Right after that, so then they see his friends, and it's a disaster at the party. Then she's like, "We can go hang out with my friends," and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna go crawl under a rock." I was like, "Whoa, you're a dick."
Let me tell you something about this character. He is an asshole.
Blane
is an asshole. Why she even bothers with him? Like, I don't know why. I don't know who they're writing this character for. Like, how can audiences like him?
It is truly based on the fact that he's cute. It's almost
questionably
cute. But it's also based on the fact that he likes her.
He likes her. That's exactly
and
right.
That makes her like him. That's really exactly not. Right. It's not well done.
He's not a good person.
At least with Some Kind of Wonderful. We're going back to that.
I can't help it. I can't help it.
Because it's such a better movie. Like, at least with Amanda Jones, you had that she was also poor and a bit ashamed of it, which provided the disconnect.
Right.
This guy, yeah, if you isolated, and someone probably should do a supercut, just isolate the Blane scenes. Christine, I didn't think that at first, but the more what you said, what I said, and the more I think about it, I think you're right. I think if you just isolated all of his scenes, he is probably a cute, questionably cute stalker asshole.
Stalker asshole is right.
Hacks into her computer.
Let me tell you something. Hacks into the computer. She's sitting there, and all of a sudden you hear, like, she says, hello, white, whatever it is. And he's like, I just don't understand. Like, in this day and age, if you had a more movie, if you rewrote this movie, it would be him. He's like a stalker.
Yeah.
He's like he would be the villain.
Yep.
He would absolutely be the villain. And maybe Steph would be like his sidekick.
Although he does have one of the truest lines.
Oh, what was it?
In this movie, I wrote it down. Well, I did write it down.
But oh my god! Okay, I just saw a quote that I have to do, but I'm going to do it at the end of it. It's like funny.
So remember the ever so subtle way Andie tells him that she doesn't want him to see where she lives. It's like truly 16 lines of dialogue back and forth. He's like, I don't understand. I don't want you to take me home. Oh, then great. Where are we going? No, you don't get it. Oh, she starts like freaking out. She freaks out on the street. Later on, she freaks out in the hallway at him. I'm like, oh my god! But it's
this is not a good relationship.
This is one funny that this is really, and I laughed out loud, which is probably not the emotion that the movie was going for. So she's like, you don't get it. I don't want you to see where I live. And
doesn't she say okay afterwards? Like, okay?
Yeah, okay. Then she jumps in his car and he goes, Jesus Christ.
And yet he calls her again. It's so strange.
Oh my god.
It's so strange, this relationship that they have. Like, why? First of all, why do they find each other attractive? Like, I don't understand that attraction at all, because she's unique, maybe, is what he likes about her, but
she's an original and she's
cute.
Different. I think, you know what, the funny thing is, with their little eye contact moments, I bought into that. I think they have I did. I think they have like cute chemistry. Like, and
I just felt like
I just burped. Sorry. Which is to say, like, they look at each other and there's something going. There is a physical attraction between them, which I feel like you feel. To your point, I agree. Their dialogue between each other is mostly awkward, lies, awkwardness, and more awkwardness. They don't have one decent conversation.
They really don't. Like, why are you even pursuing this? I feel like she is just way too smart for the stuff that he's dishing out too. Like, some of the stuff that, you know, the whole party thing, like the first date, he takes her to a rich guy's party.
I mean, just so stupid.
Honestly. And she didn't want to go. Over and over and over again. She says, I don't want to go. He's trying to convince her, oh, come on. He knows what his friends are like.
He knows what those girls are like. He knows what James Spader certainly is like. And he drags her into this environment where she's going to be made fun of.
And she doesn't like it. She doesn't want to. And then he's like, oh, we don't have to stay for very long or whatever. It's a first date. Like, what are you doing?
Also, you're rich. Again, take her out.
He's a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, again, he is a jerk. It's all about him. It's what he wants. It's who he likes. It's where he wants to go. He's not even a little bit taking her into consideration. And she, I feel like, is a strong enough character. Why is she even dealing with him?
Christina, you're right.
She's too smart for that.
You're right.
Wow. Say that again.
You're right. And that concludes today's episode.
Oh, my.
No, so, I mean, I will say it's almost, and it wasn't even anything he said, of course not. It was more mannerisms. I like the way he holds his beer and pretzels with his hands in his pockets. Did you notice that, the way he did it? I thought it was just it felt true to his character. And I was like, I remember
just sort of that
finding that endearing.
Laziness-ish.
Yeah.
But he brings her upstairs in the party. Do you remember that?
Look at my note.
Worst first date ever. 100%. At least in Some Kind of Wonderful, they knew it was a setup.
The party, you mean?
The party.
Well, but remember the whole first 3 hours of that date.
Yeah.
He takes her all around. They have a really amazing time.
They have a beautiful
time.
And
he's poor. And he just does all of this.
Yeah.
Like, Blane has money.
He used his life savings.
And Blane...
just to impress her.
Oh, jeez. Let's not go there.
Here we go.
Blane has money, and he doesn't even do anything.
It's like, is that a testament to, like, him just always getting what he wants?
Did he bring beer?
No, he went into the house and he grabbed a 6-pack.
And pretzels.
From in the house, and the pretzels. And he takes her upstairs to a bedroom on a first date.
He's an asshole.
At a party.
Yeah. You're right, Christina.
She doesn't want to be at. It was a disaster. And then, I wrote down, why does she even trust him? She doesn't know him from a hole in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why does she trust him?
Yeah. But then, so stay in that party, because then they go upstairs, and there's James Spader,
Steph,
shirtless, laying in a bed with Benny,
who is such a jerk too.
His line to her is, she's laying on top of him, and he says, "You are a slut, aren't you, Benny?" It's like, oh my God, what is this movie? Then, without, maybe 90 seconds later, Blane says something like, "Don't be mean to Andie." Do you remember what Benny says?
What?
"You're a faggot, Blane." She calls him a faggot. I was like, this movie. God. Like, I was like, wait, so Benny's a slut, Blaine's a faggot. I was like, what lovely friends. And also, we talked about this on another movie. I can't remember which one. But it's like, you have to be careful with how you draw the line between the rich and the poor and their behavior, okay, for pop culture movies. Because here we have, this is how the rich kids live.
Right.
And even amongst themselves, they're calling themselves sluts and faggots and fucking around, like, and doing all this shit. And it's like, so... But then you have the sort of the poor kids who are working in record stores, getting good grades, making their own clothes. So it doesn't feel fair to the
it
to
really
the rich.
Doesn't.
And I say that as a kid who grew up poor.
Right.
I mean, like I feel like it's like, really, that's the picture you want to paint,
right?
Mr. Hughes and Mr. Deutch.
I certainly did not grow up with Dutch, whatever it is. Right?
Jesus, Christina.
You said it. I started to say it, and you finished it. So I did not grow up with money either. I would really be interested in the opinion of a rich person, a rich
or someone who
child,
grew up rich,
and what their opinion of these movies are.
Or with money,
with money, or whatever.
Yeah.
I would. I mean, they can't be happy with the depiction,
portrayals,
right? I mean, I wouldn't be. They have no morals. They're,
It's just a strange choice. It's like, give them some and then Blane can't even, oh my God.
Blane is dumb as a stump.
He's like a wisp, like in the wind. Like and when he does speak, he's kind of an asshole.
Yeah, he is an absolute asshole when he speaks. So, did I skip something here? Was there another date after that first party? I think there was. Because it was... When did she ask him for prom?
They left and went to the club. It's all in the same night.
The club.
They went to the club, and then
when did she ask him to the prom?
That was all one date.
So she goes on the worst date of her life with this absolute asshole who clearly does not respect her or listen to her or care about what she wants. Mm-hmm. So why? So obviously you'd want to take him to the prom.
And do you remember what her dad says? Are you in love, Andie? And she says, yes, I think I am.
This whole relationship is ridiculous. What a damaged relationship. After one date with an asshole to a place you hate. Like, it's not even like a good date.
Let's see.
I will say one thing I did like, the kiss. That one kiss that they had. I thought that was a pretty hot kiss.
It didn't click on any level with me, to be honest. I remember them, and I think the last kiss, the end of the movie, they whack noses.
The end of the movie.
Please, because I have something to say. I felt like the movie ran out of money. It felt so rushed and weird and forced, and I was like, wait, what just happened? Blane has the biggest line of bullshit. When he says, "You didn't believe in me." What is that based on? Did I miss something?
Yeah, they cut half the movie out apparently because I knew right. You didn't earn me to believe in you. Are you kidding me?
Why should Andie believe in Blane?
Like, what is
he didn't even call her back.
Once again, it's all about Blane. It's all about what he wants. It's a ridiculous movie.
But let's try and be Team Blane on this.
Okay.
I am really hard pressed to understand that line that he says to her, because basically she's yelling at him in the hallway. And
what about prom, Blane?
Say it. Yeah, say it. I want to hear you say it. And he's like, I told someone else I'd bring her to the prom a month ago, and
that's bullshit.
You fucking. And then she says fuck.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Andie, come on. And then is it at prom he says, it's not the I didn't believe you didn't believe I didn't believe in you. You didn't believe in me. And I'm like, nope, you're wrong.
Yeah,
that makes no sense at all.
Was it at prom?
Or was it in the hallway?
It might have been in the hallway.
And then, although I did laugh at that, he was walking down the stairs and James Spader, Steph, is there.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, why are you getting so mad about a piece of such low-grade ass? I'm like, oh my God. He just low-grade ass.
He was oddly obsessed with her, too.
He was. Because he tried to hit on her.
He tried, and she yeah.
And Blane does say, now I understand, because you can't buy her.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So that was that whole thing. It was just weird. It was a weird character. Not likable at all.
Steph or Blane? Who?
Either one, really.
But you liked Steph.
I liked Steph
that he
he was who
movie.
He was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he was who he was. He was an asshole. But he was like, yeah, I'm an asshole. Like, he wasn't pretending to be this cool dude. He was an asshole. And he was like, yeah. He was like proud of it.
All right, there's something else.
Gotta respect that.
I don't have much left to say.
Should we take a break?
Oh my God! I need a sip of water.
Yeah, all right. Let's take a break, and
we have more to say.
Wrap it up
because
I do have some other stuff to say too. But we'll.
Oh no, I have stuff, and we have questions too. And we have questions. Christy Swanson makes an appearance. We have some things to say.
We're taking a break. Taking a sip of water. We'll be right back. Hey there, it's Brian and Christina. We just wanted to take this break to thank you for listening to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pulp culture through a middle-aged lens. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating and review while you're there.
If you have any questions, comments, or observations, shoot us an email at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Old Roommates. Thanks for listening, and now, back to the show. And we're back with waiting for the red light.
Yeah, we weren't
at
sure.
Wet Cheer Studio, and with some more thoughts.
Some more thoughts.
God, for such like a sort of light movie, we have a lot of emotional,
seriously,
big thoughts about it.
I love that. I love that we're taking a shallow dive. And because I feel like if we were taking a deep dive to each of the scenes, we wouldn't delve into the complex relationships and personalities of all these characters as much as we do.
Well, Yes, and I will say I find it funny that the first time I watched this movie, I was bored out of my mind. This time I'm enraged.
It really evokes emotions. It's like, hey, this is 2 hours of my life.
Christine, it's like 96 minutes.
I know it's a short
short.
one. It was a short movie.
It is short, blessedly short in some cases. But so I turned the page in my notes and I wrote, "Steph is as awful as Duckie is annoying." Do you agree with that?
Interesting. Interesting.
You don't have to agree.
Awful. No, I mean, I think that. Well, like I said, I think that he is a very exaggerated character.
Both.
Both.
If we think about it.
Yeah, they're both very exaggerated characters. And I would agree with that statement, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Talking about the prom scene, this is something else that didn't ring true for me. And it's also, I think, the movie kind of not knowing what to do with Duckie. Because Duckie's sort of entire, from the depths of his heart, just suddenly has this change of heart based on... Nothing.
Nothing.
She just has a change of heart. He shows up to the prom alone. Andie shows up to the prom alone. And the reason why that's important is because when they walk into the prom, there is Blane alone. And Duckie says, "Andie, he came here alone." I'm like, bitch, girl, you all did. You all came here alone. And also, and he goes, he came here alone. He's not like them. I'm like, what is that?
He's
do
like
with
us
anything?
because we showed up alone.
Yeah,
he does not make any
Lord.
sense. All of a sudden, he is like intelligent.
And all
he's
calm,
reflective.
Yeah.
Yeah, this doesn't make any sense.
I will say, this is pathetic, and I know how I'm sounding right now, but I will say when she was walking and she stopped walking, I couldn't quite remember. I couldn't connect the dots. And I remember how it ended.
Yeah.
But I couldn't quite connect the dots of like how she gets there, or if she doesn't, or she runs back into the parking lot and Blane's there. I remember that final scene. I didn't remember how it happened necessarily. And so when she's walking, she stops, and I was like, oh God. And then when Duckie was at the top of the stairs, I have to be honest, I was happy.
I was happy too.
Happy. I forgot that happened.
It was a nice sort of moment where all of a sudden she's like, oh, okay, I do have someone in my corner.
It's drenched in bullshit because I don't think either of them would have gone to that prom alone.
100%. 100%.
But I was happy to see Duckie for the first time.
It was the first time. Oh my gosh. I 100% agree with this. It was the first time I was happy to see him.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm right.
Are we monsters? Truly.
Probably.
This movie is beloved. I have told people that we're watching, that we're visiting this.
Anybody who wants to challenge what we're saying, please rewatch. No, I'm not picking a fight. No. And I'm happy. I love diverse. I mean,
different opinions.
I would not be friends with you, Brian, if I did not appreciate different opinions.
That's right.
But all I'm asking is, before you start, having any kind of comments like, how dare you rip apart my movie, you need to rewatch it first.
Oh, 100%.
Yes. Rewatch it. Yeah. Don't rely on your memory of this movie.
Yeah.
I think you'll be surprised.
Yeah. We've had some differences. I think I liked Blane more than you. You liked Steph a lot more than I did.
Definitely.
I think Steph was just on the wrong movie.
We both agree, feel very similar to Duckie. We could just toss him right out the window.
Yeah.
So here we go at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
They have a moment. You didn't believe in me, right? He says that.
Yeah.
And then he leans in. So he had one date.
Yeah.
Right? One date. Didn't return calls.
Yeah.
Now at prom. He leans in.
Mm-hmm.
I love you. Always. And walks away. I have nothing else to say about that.
Well, my thing was, does she say I love you too?
I don't.
Does she say anything?
I don't.
But then she runs out to the parking lot, and all she says is, Blane. The last line of this movie is Blane. Oh my God, it's all about Blane.
It's just bad.
Christina, you're right. It is all about Blane. Even the last line of the movie is Blane.
It's all about Blane.
Yeah.
Every single thing is about what Blane wants. And he's a stalker, weird asshole. And he really isn't that cute. He really isn't. He's quirky. Like he's not even quirky. I wouldn't even give him that.
I don't find it didn't.
He has like a boring face who smarks. He smirks. In every movie that he's ever been in, he smirks.
I didn't find him all that cute in this movie, but I'd also say pickings were slim in this high school. Did you find any of them cute? I mean, James Spader.
You know who was kind of pretty was Andie's friend.
The blonde who smokes in the gym class?
Yeah. Was she blonde? No, she had dark hair.
Andie's friend at school?
She was smoking in the gym. She
had
dark
like
hair,
sandy
right?
blonde hair.
Okay.
It was like shaggy and short.
Yeah.
Did you see who the friend was in gym class? Gina Gershon.
Oh my gosh.
It was Gina Gershon. She looked amazing. She looked really sweet.
Oh my God. Is that who I'm thinking of?
Black hair.
That's what I'm thinking of.
No, that's Benny's friend.
Oh, Ben.
And then the friend, because Andie's friend says, I hope they shrivel up and die. No, I hope they shrivel up and fall off. And then the gym teacher hears, and by the way, that's wild. The teachers don't miss a beat in this movie.
Oh, I know, right?
It's like, Andie, is everything okay? And she's like, yep. She's like, girls, write a 1,000-word essay on the something empire. And she's like, excuse me, can you not make them do that? Like, it was so weird. When that was Margaret Collin, I was like, oh, she'll probably be a recurring character in this movie. And she never shows up again.
Right.
And then the gym teacher, so then she says, what did you say? She's like, I hope they shrivel up and fall off. She's like, you hope what? Shrivel up and fall off. And then the girl goes, her breasts, Mrs. Jones, or whatever. And I laughed. But, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So would you recommend this movie to anyone?
So here's the thing. The truth is I enjoyed it more now.
Because
I really, truly was bored the first time. I didn't get any of the characters. Mm-hmm. And I think Andie, I liked Andie a lot more now. I feel like I think I appreciated her a little bit more. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's the word.
But I still didn't really see what everybody was all about her.
Yeah.
Like, everybody was talking about her.
Well, that's right. Because I wrote that in my notes. It's like the rich kids have no clue what to do with Andie. Like, the girls just make fun of her. Mm-hmm. And then the rich guys just want to have sex with her.
Right.
And, like, that's not a thing.
It's just weird.
It's just a weird thing. Okay. And then Christy Swanson appears as, did you see in the credits?
What
her name is? Duckette.
Oh, jeez.
So, okay. Duckie will not end up alone.
Very nice.
So, is it time for questions?
I think so, yes. I have one that's sort of formulated, so I'm going to have to think about it as you're asking me mine.
Okay. I have a fuck, marry, kill. FMK.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Blane. Duckie. Or the bouncer, played by Andrew Dice Clay.
Oh, my God. Oh, how funny was that, too, right?
He's good.
And he was the Dice Man.
Yeah.
He was calling himself the Dice Man. He was funny.
Yeah,
he was funny.
Who
am I going to marry? I'm going to have to marry Dice Man. I'm not marrying Duckie. Not marrying... I
thought it was funny when he's like, loves a bitch. He's like, loves a bitch. So weird. But he was good in that.
He was good. I don't like him as a person, I don't think, but that character was fine.
His comedian persona is problematic. Well, it was problematic even back then. But did you see A Star Is Born with Lady Gaga? Because he plays her father.
Oh,
He's fantastic.
Is he so good?
At it. He's very good.
The last time I saw him, they had a reality show. Oh, what was the name of it? It's a cooking show, and they paired up different celebrities. Oh, it's a stupid name too. Jamie Oliver. I don't know. Anyway, I'll have to look it up. But he was on it. He was as himself, and he was pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
All right. So yes, FMK.
All right.
Blane,
so
Duckie,
I will.
Bouncer. Oh crap! Give me a second. I didn't even write down what I thought you were going to say.
Oh, good. Okay. So
you have time.
Geez, this is really tough. I think I'm going to marry... I guess I'll marry the Dice Man.
I just said give me a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My God.
Well, how long does it take?
All right, fine. Let me see.
All right, go ahead.
Yep, okay, I got it.
Why? Oh, we're on Jeopardy all of a sudden? I thought this was Match Game.
Oh, my God. Was that what it was? I meant to do Match Game. Sorry.
Okay. All right, are you done?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to say, obviously you know what I'm going to marry. I'm going to marry Dustman. I said it like 3 times.
Yeah.
I will kill Duckie. And I will, I'll F Blane.
Yeah. That is
I'm
the
sure
right.
he's going to lay there like a rock.
That is the correct answer.
Oh, that's my correct answer?
That would be my answer,
Brian.
too. Andrew Dice Clay is pretty cute in this movie. I have to be honest. I'm being honest. I think he was cute.
I'm glad you're being honest, finally. I like how you like announce it. I'm being honest. Like, now I'm being honest, guys. So pay attention. All right, so I have a question for you.
Very exciting.
And let me think about this. All right, I'm going to just say it, and hopefully it makes sense. So it's a real, like, match game kind of question.
Okay.
Okay? And so they are going to be having a sequel to Pretty in Pink.
Yeah.
And Molly Ringwald is starring in it.
Amazing.
As a middle-aged woman.
Okay.
But they have to change the title. It's not Pretty in Pink. It's blank in pink.
Oh, you should have switched it to Pretty in Blank.
Okay, Pretty in Blank.
Oh,
Fine,
are you sure?
Yeah,
are you
yeah,
sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
I told you. It was like kind of a rough draft here. All right, so it's Pretty in Blank.
Do you have your answer?
No, I have to write.
Okay.
I literally, like 1 second ago, changed it. Jeez.
I have my answer.
Okay, I have it.
Oh, God.
All right.
Oh, my God. I have an answer for both, actually. Oh, this is mean, though, because we're middle-aged.
So, all right, we're going to say old. Let's just say it's old.
Yeah.
Let's say it's 20 years in the future.
Okay, great.
Okay, it's
so
20
she's
years in the
80.
future.
She's 70 or 80.
70 or 80.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I think we have the same answer. I really have the same answer.
Okay, here we go.
So it's okay. So so there's a sequel to Pretty in Pink in 20 years, starring Molly Ringwald, but they had to change the title.
Mm-hmm.
It is now called Pretty in.
So I feel like this would never pass the studio, but my suggestion would be Pretty in Gray.
Oh, that's actually good. I like how you played on the colors.
Yeah, what did you have?
I said Pretty in Dentures.
And then Blank in Pink.
She's already in gray in the movie.
That's true. That's true.
And then, what was that?
Blank in Pink. Did you write something for
I
that?
didn't write anything for Blank and Pink.
This is not going to pass either, but Saggy in Pink. It could be a romantic comedy.
That is definitely a romantic comedy. I think the other one's more of a, I don't know.
Pretty in Gray.
Yeah. Anyway, so.
Oh my gosh, good times.
Yeah.
So wait, so Christina, would you recommend it? I would. I think I would. But I would say.
I don't think I would.
Companion piece to Some Kind of Wonderful. Some Kind of Wonderful is honestly in the scale of this teen thing.
Yeah.
I think Some Kind of Wonderful is as close to an A+ when we're talking about these kinds of movies as you're going to get. And I think this might be more like a B-, C+.
C+,
Yeah.
I think, at best.
I appreciated the supporting characters. Again, Annie Potts and Harry Dean Stanton. I appreciated some of Molly Ringwald's acting choices. But yeah, that Duckie character almost sank the ship. Yeah. And I just found some of the stuff unbelievable. I don't think it's a bad film. And it clearly means a lot to a lot of people. I enjoyed it more this time than last time.
Yeah, I did not. And I would not. And the reason is because not necessarily because I hated the movie. I mean, it was okay. It was an okay movie. But if I were to recommend a movie to someone, instead of this, I would do Some Kind of Wonderful in that same, kind of scope. Like you're saying, I would definitely recommend Some Kind of Wonderful. If I were going to recommend a Molly Ringwald movie, I would recommend a different Molly Ringwald movie. Mm-hmm. Same with like a James Spader movie. I would probably do a different one, although I can't think of any off the top of my head. But anyway, there would be too many others to recommend before this one.
Right as usual. Those are all good arguments. That's right.
Can you say that again?
It is. You're right as usual.
Thank you.
It is not the best Molly Ringwald movie. It's not the best James Spader movie. It's not the best Andrew McCarthy movie. It's not the best.
It's not the best
movie.
of this genre.
No, you're right. You're right. But and yet, I liked it better.
And at that, I will say goodbye.
And that is it for us in this episode of Old Roommates. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Give us a rating or review while you're there, please. We love our ratings.
If you have an idea for the show, a suggestion, or a comment, email us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Old Roommates. This is Christina.
This is Brian.
Thanks again for listening. Till next time.